Yes, hello everyone. Yeah, today we shall be designing a site you're seeing here. So you can navigate and then to source everything. You can toggle here, cross down, you have the search bar. So let's just start off. Yeah, so this is my live server. I've just opened it for this project. Let's start with the basic HTML format. Here I have some files. Here I have some array of the items. I will just collapse that. And then I have some images folder. So that's all. And my HTML and CSS. So I'll head back here and then I'll set this to good test. So I'll try to run there. So you can see we have a good test. We shall have more of JavaScript, so I just want you to get grasp more of JavaScript, and then we can maybe start from the body and have the nav, and then in the nav, let's get menu bar div. So inside the div, we can probably get an input, and it will take the search type, and then we can maybe add a placeholder, and that can be search. So we can also add a button. The button, we can give it a class of sidebar toggle, simply because we want it to hold our icon. And then this icon, let's give it a name of fastfar, then buzz. We save that. As you can see, the icon is not appearing, so we need to import the font awesome kit. So I'll just grab this one and paste it. Let me just put it right there. I'll save, and then we can see the bars. Let's come here and add some styling. I will target my page and I'll set the margin to 0. The padding, I'll go with 0. Box sizing, border box. So when I save, and I will first come and I get my CSS file, just like that. I will save that. So you can see the changes, we no longer have the spaces here. So I will now target my body, and I'll go with a background of, let me just take, maybe I can just take an X color, and that should be like, let's go with F1, F8, and then yeah, I think I missed here some 8. Let's save that and see. Okay, so that's the background, and then I'll get the line height of 1.5. I will just go with a font size of 0.87 rem. I will save that, and now I will just add some comment right here, and after the comment I can target my menu bar. I think that's the div name we have. So let me set the background to cadet blue. I'll save that. You can see. Let's add some height of 80 pixels, and that's it. So we can also display the items flex, and then we can justify the content and add some space between. So we can also maybe align the items. Let's add it here to center. And then let's add some padding on the left of 30. We save that. And there we are. So now we can target our input field. And for the input, you can set the width to 24. Also the height 2.5. So you can see it is getting a bit bigger. Let's add some border radius of 2. Let's go with 3. I'll save that. You can see what we have now. Maybe we can add some padding on the left. And then we set that to 1 rem. And then we can have some margin. Let's go with the border. And I'll set that to none. I'll also add some background of an X color. I will just take D6 and then E6 and maybe F1, just like that. So I'll come here and I see. So that's what we have. I can add some font family. I'll go with the first one. And then after that, we can target the sidebar toggle. So our sidebar toggle, let's see what. So we are targeting basically our icon. So we want to add the font size of 2 rem. And then the background, we can set it to transparent. We can add some border color. We also set it to transparent. We shall save that. Let's see what we have. So we see that. And maybe we can add some margin. Sorry, some margin on the left. On the right. Let's go with 2. And also let's set the cursor to pointer. And we can finally add the animation. And we shall have bounce. We shall define it of 2 seconds, is in and out, and want to set it infinite. So when I save that, the bounce won't reflect, but we are going to define it right here. So I'll say keyframes, and then I'll go with bounce. And then inside I want to set to 0. I want it to transform. Sorry. I think I'm having an extra, yeah. So yeah, at keyframes, yeah, missing that. Then at 0, we want it to transform and scale in by 1. And then also at 50, we want it to transform and scale in by 1.5. We can also go and set it at 100 Also want it transform and scaling by 1. So let's save this and see. So you can see it is already functioning. So after that, now that we are somehow good with the nav, let's head back to our HTML and add the sidebar. So I'll go with aside, and I want to add a sidebar div. So inside my sidebar div, I can create another div of sidebar. Let me just give it sidebar header. And then I can add the image. I'll grab the image from my images folder. And then we can go with test 1. We can give it a class of, let's go with logo. And then let's save that. So as you can see, the image looks weird. So let's come to CSS and we tag it. I will just add some comment here, like sidebar. And now I can target the logo. And for the logo, I want to set height to 120 pixels. Also the width to 120. I want to set the border radius to 100%. I will save that. And let's go back to our HTML. So after our image, inside the div, we can add a button, and we can give it an id of class btn. Sorry, a div class of cross btn. And then inside the button, we can have another icon, and we can call that one fast far times. Let's save that. Let's come here. Okay, let's save that, and let's see what we have. So that's the icon. And then now that we have the cross icon, we can create our links right here after the div. Let me just add some comment. And then I will have an ordered list, and I will just give it a class name of links. And then inside the links, I can go with my list of items, and I can also have a link. I will just set that one to index to my home page, and I will give that one a name of menu, just like that. So I will select this line and I will copy it. So I can have like just like that. Maybe I can select my double cursor and then I get rid of this, or press here. I can also get rid of this. I'm now here. Let me just go with hash. For this, I can go with order now, and here I can go with about, and then I can go with contact us, and I can select this and get rid of that, and then I can save. So that's what we have. Okay, so we can maybe head back to our styles.css and we see how to sort this out. So I will target my sidebar header. Let's check the name so that we don't, sidebar header. And now for the sidebar header, I want to set the background to some RGB. Let's go with 135, and then let's take 187, sorry, and then here let's go with 189. Let's save that. That's the color we have. Let's change here and we take 35. Okay, and now we can display the items flex, and then we can justify the content and add some space between so you can see all the changes. Let's have some alignment to center, and then some padding. We'll go with 3 RAM, again 3, again 3, and then 5. Let me save that. Let just go with at the meantime, let me just go with 3. And maybe I can come here and after that, let's target our cross btn. And we can have the font size of 1. And then we can also add the background. And we can set that to transparent. We can also add a border color. We also set it to transparent. So you can see what we have. We can maybe add the color. We can set it to purple. The transition, and which I set that to 0.3 seconds. We can also have the ease in and out, and we can have the cursor also to pointer, and then padding, and we can set that to 8 pixels. And then we can have some border, 4 pixels solid, and then the color purple. Let's add some border radius, 3. Okay, And now we can add some styling. Let's add some hover. So we want that maybe we can only change the color on hover, and we can set that to gold. Let's check. Okay. And now let's target the links. Sorry. I'll go with links. And I want to display them. I'll just go with inline, then block. And then I will add some font size. And let me go with 1.2. I will remove the text decoration. Let me just go with transform, and I want to let's leave that one, and let's just add some padding of 1. And then wait a minute. Let's go with order. Okay. So after the padding, let's add some color of purple. And then some transition of 0.3 seconds linear. Okay. And then let's add some styling. Links on hover. We want the background to have some X color of 8, and then F1, and then we can go with F8, just like we had before, and then some color of gold. We can add some padding, left of 1.7. So now we can target our sidebar, the whole sidebar. Let's set a position. I want to go with fixed. And then I want it to appear on top, and I will set it to 0. Then from left, also 0. And then I will set the width to 100 pixels, the height to 100%, sorry. And then the background, I want to go with cadet blue. And then I will set the grid template rows 1FR auto. Let me just go with 1FR and 1FR auto, just like that. And then let's add some gap in the rows of 1, and then some box shadow of purple. So as you see, I can save, and we already have our animations working. Let's see if we can remove the It's a text decoration, none. Okay. So there we are. And now I want to set the media queries. So I'm saying this is what I want to happen to my sidebar when I come to this width of 676 pixels. So I'm saying my sidebar, I want the width to be of 400 pixels. So now we don't have any functionality, so you can see right now it is just like this, the way you see it. We have this, but nothing is working, so we can add some functionality and then we see how it works. So we shall create here. Before, let me just go to my sidebar, and I will just need to add some, let me just add some border radius. I will take maybe 0.5, and then I will also add some transformation. So right now I want it to translate to minus 100%. So when I save that, you see it disappears, right? And now we want to create another class right here, which is not, let's just call it show sidebar. And then I want to add the transformation. And I want it to translate to 0. So you see nothing is happening. But when I grab this class and then, when I grab this class and I come and I add it into my sidebar here and I save, and then we should see this. So basically this is the class we shall toggle using the JavaScript, and then we can specifically add a functionality. So I will just come here in my JavaScript, and then I will create a variable. I will set that to constant. So first of all, I want to grab my btn, my button. So I'll go with document dot query selector, and now I want to grab my sidebar toggle. So I'm grabbing this button here, this one here. Before that, can we just head to some CSS and then we add some styling? So here after our sidebar toggle, we can add some styling for how we want our nav to appear. So let's go with media queries. So I just want us to see something here instead of moving to the large screen every time. So let me just come and I say media screen, and then I'll say and max width, and I'll say that to 1000 pixels. And I'm saying I want my menu bar to have some padding on the left of 6. So there we are. and I also want to grab my input, and I want it to have some margin on the right of 2 rem, just like that. Yes, the margin of 2, and then when I save, you can see now it looks a bit better. So yeah, and then now that we can see that, let's head back to our JavaScript, and now I want to grab this button here, and now this is the class, the variable I'm creating. So after that, let me also grab my sidebar. So I'll say that I'll also say document.query selector, and then I'll go with sidebar. That is the class name that I gave it. So after that, we can create a function, and we want to add some event listener on our button. So we are saying on click, come here and I use some arrow functions. So I'm saying on click, I want to grab the sidebar, and inside the class list of the sidebar, I want to toggle the sidebar class that I created, the show sidebar. Just like this. So what is happening right now, what I'm doing, I'm just saying I want to grab this sidebar right here, this class, and then I want to get this sidebar class, this one here, and I want to put it into my sidebar. So every time I hit the button, I either want to put it in or I want to remove it. So that's why I just use the toggle class, the toggle. So what I'm gonna do right now is to get my JavaScript file. I'll come and I press it right here. I will just say, let me just go with, sorry. Let me just go with so what I just put JavaScript. So this is the JavaScript link, and then now I can just come back to, and when I save, I also save right here. And now, as you can see, I was just saying you can grab, you can now toggle. So I can just use the remove, maybe like remove. I can also say like add, but I'm just using the toggle method. I just keep toggling every time I tap on the button. So when I save and I tap on the button, then I'm just saying you put in the sidebar class, and then now we have to create the function to cross. So for now, the cross button is not working. So I'll just refresh, and then right now we can just grab the cross btn. I will say to also use the query selector method, and I will say dot cross btn, and now I also want to add some functionality for it. So I'll say add event listener on click. This is what we want to happen. Now I'm saying I want to grab my sidebar, and now I'm targeting the class list, and now this time I want to remove the sidebar, this show sidebar. So when we save, and now we can just leave it to load. So when I tap on the toggle and then I cross, this one should. So now let's navigate to the bigger screen and we see. So I can just cross this one down just like that. Let's continue. And now that we are done with that, let's come back to our JavaScript, and inside our after the sidebar, we can add some button container, and now I will just create a div of btn container, and inside I will just create a button, and for this button I'll give it a type of button. I'll also give it a class of filter btn. I can also give it the data, and I will just set this one to ID, and then I can call this one all foods. So you can see my button is right there. Let me just copy this, paste, and paste. So you can see I have so many buttons. Let's add some styling. I will change the names data. So I'm just going to target my btn container. Btn container, and now I want to text align, and then I'll say center. I'll also say padding, bottom. Let me add to rem, and then padding top. I'll also add some to rem. I will save that. So that's what we have now. And now I want to target one single filter btn. Let me see the class name that I gave it, btn. So I want to say I want the background to be transparent, and I want the padding to be 0.375 rem. I'm missing here something, sorry. Padding, and then let me also add it on the left, so I will go with 0.75 rem. So that's what I have, and then I'm just let me add some letter spacing of 0.1. I'll also go with a display inline block. Let's add some transition for all buttons of 0.3 seconds linear, some border radius of 1, some margin. Let's go with margin just 2 pixels. So I'll come here and I grab the filter btn. I want to add some hover styling. I want to set the color to Bollywood. I also want to set the background to black. Voila! Oh, there we are. So now that we have that, let's head back to our. So now that we have that, okay. So I was just thinking we can get rid of all these buttons. At the moment, let's just leave them. Let's head to JavaScript. So what I want to do, I want to create the buttons using JavaScript, and then I will add some functionality to them. So I can just come here to JavaScript, and then I will just come here and I will create a function. I will just call this function display item buttons. Now you can just give it any name, so I will just call that. I will just give it that name. And now inside my display item buttons, first of all, you can see here in my category I have the alcohol, then I have the bakeries, so I have the alcohol again. So I could come here and then edit here all the names. I come edit, I get alcohol, just like that. But that is a wastage of time, so I will just come to JavaScript. So yeah, I'll come here to my JavaScript, and now before I create actually even this function, I want to set a functionality so that whenever my window runs, like whenever it loads, what I want it to display is this. So that's what I'm going to create right now. Like when my window, like when it loads, this is what I want to happen. So I will just target my window, and I want to add an event listener, and then I will say, let me just go with stable, DOM content load. So I will set here my callback function, and then inside my callback function, I will just pass in that function that I'm going to create right now. So I will just come here and I say function. Now I can go with display. I go with item buttons, and inside my function I want to create a variable for categories. So I will say const categories. I'm going to explain the code, so I will just say categories. So now I'm grabbing the categories in this menu here, the category. So I'm grabbing the category. Let me just grab this one here. categories, and I'm trying to use so what I want to do right now is to grab my menu. So let me just grab the menu, the whole menu, so that I don't confuse you. I'll just grab the whole menu, and I want to map. The map function just iterates like around the menu. So I'm just grabbing the menu, and then I will just let me just use the reduce method. So simply because I want to target specific class, like I want to target specific categories. So meaning if it is alcohol, I don't want to repeat it, like here alcohol, and now I want to target like single alcohol and then bakeries once and then sips. So that's why I'm just using the reduce method. For the map, it will just iterate all the all the items in the array. So that's why I'm just using reduce. So I'm saying we'll use reduce, and now that I want to target the same items, so I'll go with values. Now for the reduce method, it takes into parameters, it will take the current and then the accumulator. So I'll just go with value and then item. Now I would set here my callback function. And now inside my callback function, I just want to come here and I will add an empty dependence of all foods. Just say all foods. So inside my callback function, I will check if the values, like the other categories, does not include the item category. Item category. And then what I want to do is to actually push that category. So I want to push that item category. Sorry. So now this is what is happening. So I'm checking in my array. So I'm saying if it appears once, like in short, if it appears twice, then you leave it. So I'm just targeting the category once. So that's why I'm saying if it does not include that certain category, then push it. So now I'm just targeting that one category at once, like only one category. So after that, I can come here and then after my if statement, I want to return the values or the value. So let me just go with values, sorry. Yeah, so I want to return the values. So now after creating that and after targeting my unique categories, I can come here and I create constant. I want to target my buttons now. So I will say is equal to. Now I want to target these categories that I've already pushed, the unique categories. And I want to map over them. And then for each category, I'm just passing in a parameter of category, a property of category. I want to return the button. So I'll just use the backtext, and for the backtext we can pass in any HTML. So I will just come here in my HTML and then I'll grab this button. I'll come here to I'll paste the button. And now what I want to do, I will just come here on the ID. I will use here my $sign, and then I want to pass in the category, like every category ID. And then here on all foods, I want to pass in my category. I can just pass in the category. And now what I want to do is to come here and I set this one and I join my function. I will just join it that way. So now I can save that and I will come here. I'm still inside my function, my display buttons function. So still inside my function, what I want to do now is to grab this button, this whole button, and then press it inside my container here, my button container. So now I can just get rid of this after just inserting just like we did with the show sidebar class. So I just want to grab that and I put it inside my button container. So what I will do, I will just come, I can just come here on top, and now what I want to do is to come and I say const container, just call it container is equal to document dot query selector, and now I want to grab my btn container, and now I'll come here after my join method. I'll grab the container and I will target the inner HTML and I will set it to my category btns, just like that, and then I can know what I want to do. So you can notice when we refresh, nothing will happen. So simply because we need to invoke our function, this function in our window here. So I will just grab here display, and now that I'm invoking it, I'll save, and now you see we have all the buttons, just the buttons that we suppose. So we are grabbing all the buttons according to the categories. So we have the alcohol, and then here this dependency, we are just having the all foods dependency. So when I just collapse this, you can see we have this all foods dependency. So it just because we don't have a category for it, so that's why I passed it as a dependency. And then we have created the buttons for every category, for every item category that we have, just like this, using JavaScript. And now what we have to do is to create the items, and then we add some functionality for the buttons. So I'll just head to the HTML, and now we actually don't need all this. I'll just comment this one out and I'll save. So we don't need that. I'll come here after my div. So here after my div, I just want to create a section. I'll just comment that one out, and then I'll go with section, and I'll give it a class name of section center. And inside my section, I want to get an image. So I'll go to my images, and then I can grab maybe beef. I can give it a class of photo, And then after I've grabbed my image, I can maybe save, but it looks weird, so we shall have to edit that. So now after I've grabbed my image, I can come and I create here inside my section. I can create a div of item info, item info. So maybe we can first target our section and maybe the image, and we add some styling. So I'll come here to my CSS, and now I'll grab my photo. And I will set the height at 200 pixels. I will also set the width. Let's go with 300 pixels. I will save that. So we have something like that. So let me go on object. Object fit, I'll go with cover. So you can see what we have. I can add the border radius of 0.5. I'll save. And now after here, let's target our section header. Our section, I called it center, sorry. So for my section, I will have the maximum width of 170 pixels. And I will also have the margin. Let me set that to 0 and then auto. I will display. I will have the grid and then the gap. I can just add a gap for every item of 2 rem and then 1 rem, and then I can also justify the content, the items, sorry, and justify items, and I press them in the center. So I will save that, and now I'll head back to my HTML. And now for every item I want to add the info, so I will just create here a header, and inside the header I will have the h4, and I'll just give this one title, and maybe I can say beef pie. I'll also give I'll also add another h4 for the price, and this one I'll set it to 4.9. So you can see that's what we have. Now I can add a paragraph for, so I will just go with item, maybe text. Let's take that. And now here, let me just come to my JavaScript. I'll come to my array. I'll look for beef, and I will grab this one here. I'll come and paste it right there. I'll save, and that is what I have. And now that means we can come here, like we can just add something like, we can just set it to ash, and then we can add some text of Simo and save. So now that is the end of my article. let's add here an article. We can just put everything in one article, and then we can give it a class of menu and then item. So this will be like the whole item. So I will just come and I will just sorry, let me just grab this, and now this will be my item, my whole item. So I'll save. So now you can see this is the whole article. So meaning if I grab my article and I paste several times, sorry, let me save. So you can see what we have. I will just get back to my one item, and then I will head back to my JavaScript. And now we want to get so many items using JavaScript. We don't have to create a lot of code, a lot of HTML code. So I will just head to my JavaScript. So maybe before we come to our JavaScript, as you can see, the article is somehow misplaced. Let's come to CSS and maybe add some styling. So I'll grab my menu item, which is the article, the div that I gave it, and then I want to set the padding to 1 RAM. I'll also add the background. I'll just go with sorry, just like that. Yeah, I'll save that. So that's the background, and maybe I can add some maximum width of 20, and then I can display, I can have grid and the border radius of 1. I'll save that. So you can see that that is what I have. Yeah, that's better. So now that we have that, let's head back to our JavaScript and we see what we can do. So what we shall do, we shall come here and create a function, and I call that function display items, and I want to pass in the menu. So I'm grabbing the whole menu as the property. So then I want to create here, I will just call this one, I will just create a variable of menu items, and I will say I'll grab my menu and I want to map over it. So I'll grab each item in the array, and then I want to return my HTML. So I'll use backtick, sorry. So I will just come here and I will grab the whole article just from here. I will head here and I will paste everything just like that. Here I'm having some error, so I think I need some, I'm just missing some code, and then also here. Let me see. No, right here. So I just want to put it right there, and then I'll close this one here, and I should save. So after saving, and now that I'm grabbing my whole menu, I just want to come for the image source. I want to grab the image source. I will use my $sign, and now I will say I'll grab the item in the menu and I will replace it with the image, and I'll come here for the title. I will do the same. I will say item dot title, and I also grab the price. I will say item dot price, and then I also want to grab the description. So I'll say item dot description, and then I will save. So when I save, you can see, and now what we have to do is to invoke our function here, so that when we load the window, this is what should happen. So I will just come here up to the end of the function, so you can see my function, this one here, the windows, so where the window is stopping. So I will just come inside and I'll create, I will say display items, and then I'll pass in the menu. And now when I pass in the menu, I can just come here and I call this one menu details, and I'll also change here to menu details, and then I want to join I want to join here my function. So I will come at the end right here. I can as well as set a join method here, but I will just come here and I say my menu items will be equal to menu items dot join, and dot join, and then I want to, so what I want to do right now is to come here. I want to grab this section and I want to insert my code into this section. So I will just come right here, anywhere you want. It can be on top, or so I can just come here on top of the window, and then I want to grab my section. So I'll say it's equal to document dot query selector. Sorry, and I want to grab my section center. So I will save, and now I will come here. I'll get my section, and I want to grab the inner HTML, and I want to set it to my menu items. And when I save, you see magic. So we have all our items right here, just like this. We need to style this, the item info. It is looking kind of weird, so we shall come to our .css, and now we can grab, we can come here, and then we can target our item info, we had the header, so we can say margin top of 0.5 rem. We can display flex, so we can justify the content and have some space between. We can set the border bottom to 2 pixels dotted, and then gray. Save that. So you can see. Let's also grab the item info h4. Let's set the color to purple. Font size 18 pixels. Margin bottom 0.6. Save. Let's grab the price. We set the color. I think let's leave out that. So let's grab the item text. Item text. We say the text decoration to none, and also the color. Let's just leave the text decoration. Maybe we can just add some margin the bottom, and we can set that to 0 and maybe add some padding on top of 1 rem. Let's save that. I think that's better, and maybe let's grab that link, and maybe we can add and we can set the text decoration to none. Okay, I think this is better. Okay, now it's time to grab the media queries, so that when we change the screen, we can have our items aligned. Like we can have some grid. So I'll go with 800 pixels. And then I'll set the let me set the section. I'll grab the grade, template, and columns now this time. Oh no, grid columns, sorry. Let's go with grid template columns, and I'll set that to 1 FR, and then 1 FR again, and then 1 FR. So let's save. We save this, and then if we come here, we can see the items now, the way they are aligned. Okay, and then we can also target our photo, and we set the height to 150 pixels. Okay. Now the only thing we are remaining with is targeting our button, so that when we select, we have only the alcohol, we have bakeries, we have lunch, snacks, just like that. So we shall head to our JavaScript. Yeah, so now what we want to do, we want to come up, let's grab this function here, and now press it right here in our window. And now after our category btns, we shall grab our btns. Let me just give it that name, and I will say it's equal to document dot query selector. And now this time I want to select all the buttons, and I'm saying I want to grab the filter btn. I just hope that is the name that I gave them. And now what I want to do is I want to iterate, so I will just say filter btns, and then for each button, so we use for each method, and inside I want to grab each button, and I'm setting my callback function, and for each button I want to add an event listener, and I will say on click, so on click so I want to grab each, like every current target. So what I will do, we shall have an invert, so I will just pass here my a, and now I want to grab every ID. Let me just put this one, let me just create a variable here, const category btn. So so now that I'm grabbing the ID for every button, this ID here, so what I want to do, I want to create another variable, so I'll call this one category, and I'm going to iterate around the menu, and this time I want to filter. I just want to filter each item category, so I'll just pass in the item category, and I'll have here my callback function, and I'm checking if that item category, if item category is equal to that category btn, which is the ID. And what I want to do, so what I want to do right now, and now what I want to do, I'm checking if that item category is equal to the category btn. I want to return the item category. So that is the item that I want to return. So just like that. And now that I want to return, so now I'm just returning the item category. So after that, I will just come just below here, and now I'm just checking. So if the category btn is equal to all foods. Now remember my dependence that we created. So I'm saying I want to display Now I'm calling my function. I want to display my menu, my menu function, and then else I want to display the category, just like that. And now, okay, so when we save, let's save, and then let's try to check if it works. As you can see, it is not working. I think, oh yeah, on selecting my VTNs, I missed here a dot. So let me save again. And now, yeah, the functionality should work just like that. Let's navigate to the big screen and see. Snacks, well, all foods, there. So I think it's perfect. So basically, let me try to enlarge my screen here, and I try to elaborate more on the JavaScript part. Here we are selecting the buttons, and then we are giving this button here a functionality, this icon. So we are saying on click, it should select my sidebar, check the class list, and then toggle every time I call upon it. Even the cross button, the same functionality, just like that. And then here I'm just selecting my container plus the section. Here I'm just invoking my functions. I'm saying when the window loads, this is what I want to happen. So I'm just invoking my icons. This one is a function, yeah, for displaying the item buttons. This one's here. So first I'm just checking in the menu, and I'm trying to get the unique values. So if it is alcohol, then I get alcohol. Then here I have an empty dependence for the item, for the all foods. And then, yeah, here I'm just returning the unique values. And then I'm selecting my buttons, and I'm mapping around the category. And here I have the whole button. I'm passing in the category ID and then also the category name. Then I'm getting like buttons. So meaning now we can add any button dynamically. So when I come here to menu and I maybe copy this, the whole of this, I copy and paste. So when I save, maybe I can have, let me just call this one just drinks. So when I save, it should load, and then let me just minimize this a bit. I will just collapse this one here. So because this JavaScript, it is taking long to load. I don't know why, but it should bring me another button for the drinks. So that's how it just works. Let me try to refresh it. Yeah, so you see we have the drinks now added. So now we can add any button dynamically. So meaning if we have drinks here and then we click, we should select the drinks. So that's how it works. I think that's all for this tutorial. Yeah, I'll be dropping more, and I think I'll also start on React. So please subscribe below for me, and yeah, we move on. Thank you. Thanks for watching.